Hey y'all, it is March the 14th, 2020, 2024. And y'all, let me apologize straight away because I got my camera very, very, very close to my face. And I'm really realizing that right now. It's kind of disturbing. Let me see if I can tone it down a little bit on the fly. Yeah, that probably don't work. We're gonna sit it right here. We're gonna sit it right here on a peanut butter jar, you guys. Mm, yeah, peanut butter jars. Hey y'all, it is March the 14th, 2020, 2024, and I gotta admit, just right now, when I said 2020, 2024, I had to second guess myself. Honestly, I don't know if you saw. I don't know if you saw it in my eyes that I had to second guess myself on what was the year. The other day, I had to second guess myself on how old I was as well. I'm not sure what exactly that signifies. It means something interesting, I think. Y'all, I just wanted to kick it tonight. And as you may understand from the title of this live stream, I do believe we'll get so far down the rabbit hole that we'll totally forget what a wainer is. We don't know what a wainer is. That's how far down we go tonight. We don't know who has a wainer and what to do with it. Actually, we're gonna have to talk about that later on tonight. All right. It's gonna be a big theme. Now, mind you, a lot of things are happening on Earth, and they're wild, and for the most part, they're disturbing. I find them disturbing. And real quickly, I wanted to recognize that before we get into some lighthearted, you may or may not find what we're about to do lighthearted. You may or may not lose your gender. I wish I could show y'all some visual of what it is we're talking about, what it is that we're getting into tonight. Some things. We're going to analyze them. Like I said, I wish I could let y'all see it, but I can't do that. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do that exactly, and perhaps I don't have the capabilities of it. In 2020, 2024, it's ridiculous. All right, but I did want to get on live tonight and hopefully find a straggler, get on, and hopefully pervert their mind or something. But in the meantime, before anybody pops on, I just want to get into it. All right, gender dysphoria. No, I can dysphoria, right? I was gonna say dysphoria. We're on YouTube, and I don't know which words that I can say. I want to talk about being on Rumble. I plan to be on Rumble tomorrow, and on Rumble, feel like we're gonna change it up a little bit and talk more so about action. You know what I'm saying? About taking action. Talking more about that tomorrow's broadcast exclusively on Rumble. Over here on YouTube, we only talk about just chilling and observing, you know, observing some things, analyzing some things very, very carefully. And I'm torn between two things right now to just dive into it. I do believe that I'll start off with a particular incident that I had heard about. Actually, I'd heard about it a while back. And mind you, I didn't look into it back when I had heard about it. Okay. I thought I was bringing it up right now. All right. We're suffering technical difficulties. I want to bring it up here in a second. But the video clip in which fixing to play right now is a video clip that I had seen maybe 2 days ago. And that video clip right here that I'm fixing to pull up right now is of a man, and it was an incident. An incident happened.
The attorney is going to review your case in just.
All right. There's a commercial right here for Morgan and Morgan law offices, which is appropriate. They're the ones who are bringing to us this information, this video, which you can't see, but you can hear it. And of course, you could also see it on the internet. I don't know why I can't show it to you, but I cannot. So the video and incident is in regards of a actor in which whom you might know. All right. Shout out to El Nino, of course. El Nino knows exactly who I'm talking about, right? People our age obviously know exactly who I'm talking about, probably. You might recall a smash hit, an undeniable smash hit sitcom called Home Improvement. Am I right? Yeah, you recall that, right? It's big time stuff. And you might recall a actor. There was three brothers in a family, the Taylors, Home Improvement. Um, the older brother was the character, at least. His name was Brad, or Bradley Taylor, or something like that. And so he was a childhood actor, and this is a long time ago, basically. He's done some things, I'm sure. I don't know what type of things. I don't know what type of things he's been up to. All right. There's been plenty of actors. I'm not saying anything about him because I don't know his life. I sincerely don't know hardly anything about Zachary Bryan. That's his actual name. The guy, Zachary Bryan. He used to play Brad, which was the oldest brother on Home Improvement. He was the kind of wild child. He liked to get into mischief. All right. He's very adventurous. So, but that's in a TV show. I mean, it lasted for a long time, but it's a long time since it's been off the air. And Zachary Bryan has been getting into whatever. There was that other guy. What's his name? Simba from The Lion King. He had a funny name. I forget what it was. All right. I don't know too much about these people, but so here's why it caught my eye personally, because of course I am familiar with that. So, and I do recall the actor. Number one, the actor, he was real good at football. Zachary Bryan, and I used to play some football, and so I could relate. All right, and so way back when, I recall hearing some mischief, some legal something or other, confusion he had gotten into, and I'd even remarked about it here upon the internet. And I vaguely recall it having to do something with a female. All right. And so fast forward into perhaps a couple years later, I'm hearing about this incident, which, yeah, a lot of people seen it. It's got 921,000 views here on YouTube. But of course, many, many more people have no idea and are not concerned about the welfare of a Zachary Bryan. I find it all very interesting, and I was invited to watch a video here on YouTube by Law and Crime Network, brought to us, like I said, specifically by Morgan and Morgan. And the video is of
Jorge has always put the ones he loves first, but he's let his own dental care take a back seat. Time for a shift. Aspen Dental offers free complete exams and x-rays for new patients without insurance, making it easier to get started with quality care.
All right, so remember that, Aspen Dental, for if you want quality care. That was an advertisement that I didn't get paid for, but all right. So I queued it up, and well, you might hear. I don't know what you could hear. We might have to cut it off because I don't know if you can hear it very clearly. But what the video is unfortunately of Zachary Bryan, and he is in the back of a police car. There's a video camera pointed at him for documentation reasons. Obviously, it all seems appropriate. The video is called Body. By the way, Body Cam shows home improvement actor Zachary Bryan's arrest for assaulting Wyman. Okay, that's what's the title. And so, I was kind of interested. And so I partake in watching the video, and I'm going to play a little bit for you right now and see if you can understand any of the words coming out. And if not, I'll have to explain to you what it is we're looking at now. I'm looking at right now, and you're going to see when you pop up the video. A much older Zachary Bryan, of course. He's older, obviously. His face a little bit older and different. He almost looks like that guy from Full House. Remember? What is it, Uncle Joey? He almost looks like that. But anyways, he looks like he's in pretty decent shape. Although I'm not the judge, I'm not trying to really analyze him, but like that. But I feel like, hey, he stays in pretty decent shape. He looks like. I'll give him credit for that. All right, play some of this video of a man in the back of a police car, and he's trying to reason with it real quick. Let's get a little taste.
Go out like super soon. I'm getting the out of this. Soaked up. I don't know why you guys did this to me.
All right, let me play that one back just real quick. So I don't know if you caught the first part. I don't know if you can catch any of it. Working on the sound quality, right? But it seems clear enough. Check it out. This is Zachary Bryan, and he's in the back of a police car right now. And he's trying to reason with it. He's dressed pretty casual. He looks pretty comfortable, except for the fact he's in a police car. And police cars are quite uncomfortable in the back seat. I think we'll all agree about that.
Can't hear you. Oh no, I'm good. I'm good, man. I'm good. But I'm gonna bail out like super soon, and I'm getting the out of this city. Soaked up. I don't know why you guys did this to me. So pissed, huh? You're so mad. It is what it is, but it's pretty up, dude. I literally got attacked, and I'm the guy that's
All right. I want to stop this video right quick. I imagine that you're hearing it. It seems like it's coming in kind of clear. Obviously, it's not going to be the best audio recording in the back of a police cruiser like that. But just to catch you up, you got this man Zachary Bryan in the back of a police car. We're gonna we're kind of forced, honestly, to take everything here, right now at face value. Basically, I don't know anything about Zachary Bryan. The thing is, even if I knew Zachary Bryan real well, it definitely would take a lot more investigation than we have time for in order to even scrape the surface of what troubles Zachary Bryan might be have been going through recently. All right, but he ended up in the back of a police car. This is what I'm seeing visually. And he starts off by saying, I can't believe that y'all did this to me. He said, I can't believe y'all did this to me. And he's talking basically about the police. And of course, he's in the backseat of a police car. So I believe that's what he's referring to. And then he did mention, right before we cut off the video, he did mention that he was the one who actually got beat up. All right. And even still, he ends up in the backseat of a police car. Now, in this situation, you got people talking, and people do talk. Men and women and everything in between can and will lie. All right. And so we can't just take somebody's word for it. I mean, we really can't. So we don't know if Zachary Bryan is like some sort of Hollywood egotistical. He got all high on the hog back when he was a actor in a very, very prestigious show. But however, has not really done anything close to that sort of notoriety since, which is all right. A lot of people choose not to do that, to not be in the limelight anymore. I really don't know any of his story. We don't know if Zachary Bryan is out there assaulting women, but we do know that the video for his arrest for assaulting women is on YouTube, and it is described exactly that way. I'm willing to bet you he has not been found guilty of assaulting a woman yet. All right, but however, the word allegedly has not found its way into the YouTube video title. You might notice, but the YouTube titles, they can be changed later on, can't they? So I think that's why there's no allegedly. Here's the deal, because we don't know. We really don't know, and I'm not trying to say, hey, we should believe former actor Zachary Bryan while he's in the back of a police car, liable to say whatever. But I found it interesting when I had first watched it because I thought to myself, I might as well take it on face value because I would have to be a insane psychopath to think that I have enough information to my resources to fairly assess whether or not Zachary Bryan is over here lying about who assaulted who in the back of a police car. But with that being said, let me play a little bit more, and I might have to go grab a drink. I'm thirsty, but let's play a little bit more to see if you get a little bit more insight onto Zachary Bryan and how he's in the police vehicle. We're not going to play the whole video. The whole video is about 20 minutes long watching him in the back of that for some reason, but we'll play a little bit more. It's like sitting quietly thinking to himself. I don't know if you can hear the car and, the car noises. He's just looking kind of from side to side.
It's way. opposite of what you should be doing. Yeah, it's her dad. They're pathological liars.
All right, so like I said, I don't know how good if you could hear that. And of course, I know you can't hear the police officer really responding as he's driving to actor Zachary Bryant and his questioning and his dialogue, if you will. You got a Zachary Bryant. Now, this is all on face value. I know nothing. I have no idea who's telling what kind of lie. But you got Zachary Bryant here in the back of a police car, and he's acting pretty casual. Got his legs crossed. You really can't hardly help it in those damn police cruisers. But he's over there talking about, man, y'all did the wrong thing. Y'all are supposed to do the right thing. In reference to the police. He said, but what y'all did was the wrong thing. And really, I was the one who was assaulted, is what he's saying. And then he goes on to say something about his baby mama, which is coming up. There's a whole reason behind, obviously, the drama, the baby mama drama. And her father, too, as well. All right, we've talked about fathers recently around here. Talking about her father, talking about her, called them both like pathological liars. Now, you gotta, it was, if you're thinking objectively, and considering that all this could be hearsay, it is hearsay. It's kind of a stretch, man. How many people really are pathological liars? I mean, there's people out there who lie. We know people out there who lie. But I do believe that very few of those people out there who's lying are actually pathological. They're just like opportunistic liars. They take the opportunities to lie and get over on people. But there's some instances in which somebody gets tweaked out enough, and I've seen in which they'll lie about stuff that truly does not even remotely benefit their cause. All right, they lie simply because they can't get with the truth at all. All right, so that would be like pathological. That's kind of a stretch. Even if they're lying every day, even if they lie all the time, pathological. People use those words. People use narcissist all freaking day. No, it has no sting anymore. Pathological. I think you're exaggerating, Zachary Martin. That's what I think on the face of it for face value, but it's interesting. And I want to hear just a little bit more because it goes on for another 18 minutes probably. But I do believe that we basically got the gist of what, is to be learned. Or we got the gist of what the environment is right here in this video. And it's going to continue to have this sort of tone as, as we keep playing it. Of course, there's going to be advertisements on it. Somebody's making money off of the Zachary Bryan police videos, and it's very shameful. So I'm watching Zachary Bryan, and he's chilling in the back of the car still. Just waiting to get to jail.
She can't have me. Trying to put me in jail for it. Sad. I've already had a hard enough time, dude. Maybe it hates me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, Miami TMC's gonna get it.
All right, so I don't know how well y'all heard that. Hopefully, y'all heard it pretty good. But however, of course, I would have to explain that Zachary Bryant goes on and saying very typical things that you might imagine someone saying in the back of a police car, explaining that his baby mama, she's tripping, her and her father, some pathological liars. She's really mad because she really can't have you. She wants to get at you, but she can't get at you no more. She can't have you. She wants some of it. That's what Zachary Bryant's saying. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if it's true. But like I said, what you can give Zachary Bryant, I don't know what people will say about it. They'll say all sort of whatever. Pause. He's not a bad looking dude. He really isn't. He's probably above average looking dude. All right. And not only that, he's got a little bit of that. I mean, the notoriety that you'd still get, even still, for being on Home Improvement, you get that comes with a little bit of clout still. It still does. All right. So he's got a little bit of clout. He's probably not too bad off for money. He's well dressed. He's not in bad shape. So it's not impossible. That's what I wanted to point out. Totally analyzing this video, it's not impossible to think that Zachary Bryant's actually telling the truth because we've seen it before. Women to get so mad. There's some women out there that get so mad. They want this man, and they can't have this man. They can't have this man in destruction and chaos, and it doesn't even matter who gets destroyed. If they want this man, they can't really have him. What do I mean to say? I don't know. I don't know for sure, but what I'd be willing to guess is you got a Zachary Bryant over there, former actor, a little bit of clout, pretty good looking fella, attractive fella probably. I mean, he's over there, and he's getting some lady pregnant, probably Mariner. I don't know the history. If they ever got married or divorced, I don't know. But he absolutely did get some lady pregnant at least once, probably twice. I'm not sure how many times, but he got her pregnant. All right, may or may not have married some lady, but of course, at this point, it does seem as though if they were married, they certainly got a divorce at this point. All right, and it's very possible that he got her all pregnant, and then he got her pregnant probably again, and whatever have you, and then because of his clout, his good looks, he might have smashed some lady on the side. I'm just guessing. I have no reason to believe that any of this is factual, but it would be quite typical. Smashes some lady on the side, maybe smashes a lady or two. It gets found out about, and his wife, baby mama, flips her lid. It all starts becoming chaos. She realizes that she can't have him all for herself and stuff, and like he's going to smash a girl or two from time to time. This makes her infuriated. She cannot handle that. She didn't sign up for that. And she's not going to handle that. And I'm just guessing, but that's a pretty educated guess that I have right there. That's why I wanted to talk about it. Because it's very typical. I'm not taking Zachary's word for it. Mr. Zachary, Mr. Brian. I'm not taking his word for it, but objectively, this would be kind of a pretty interesting exhibit to analyze as being very typical what could happen to you as a man. Now, I'm not going to play any more of the video, because I don't even know of the audio quality necessarily. But he does go on, of course, to talk about how he plans to bail out and leave town, and then after that, I don't know what's in store for Zachary Bryan, because he does have children, and maybe he's got to dip out on the children sometimes. And it's crazy to say it. We have a hard time saying it, but it's the truth and the reality. Sometimes you got to dip out on those children. I don't know about Zachary Bryan here, but he might even have to dip out on these children just for their own benefit, because perhaps they could be used against him, such as like a weapon. Maybe the children get mistreated or whatever. That wouldn't be right. So Zachary Bryan, he's sitting there, and I was always watching this video, and I was taking everything at face value. I thought to myself, this is so cool, so very typical. And it's all part of the process, it seems. It's all part of the process. And the process itself is magical. All right. Or I don't know, it's like extra supernatural or something like that. The process in which Zachary Bryan might be going through right now. Without being too long-winded tonight, I wanted to mention again, it's going to be very important, pressing on, and we're not going to talk about it too much in the future. We're just going to live it. We're not going to have time to explain it to like all sort of dorks and dweebs, because these dorks and dweebs are out there. They're ran by demons. They have no idea. They have no authority, and yet they seem like they want authority or something like that. These demon people. We're no longer going to have to debate these demon people. I forget what we were talking about, but Zachary Bryan. I'm looking at him and I'm empathizing, if you will, because he's going through a particular incident in his life. It's like the second or third time he's come afoul of the law, found himself in the back of a police cruiser and stuff like that. And he's trying to you're watching the man, and I'm here watching him, having experienced not exactly the back of police cruisers, but having experienced what you would call betrayal, ultimate betrayal from a lady. The ladies, they'll betray, and they're very good at it. If they betray you, that is. I'm not saying the ladies will betray you. I'm saying if they do, it's going to be real hard, real hard. They'll betray the shit out you. All right. That's one of those ancient Asian proverbs. Is that ladies will do that. Ladies will do that. All right. And I empathize with the guy, and I see that he's in a particular stage because he's trying to calculate it. And you see, like the thought, you see the wheels turning in his head. Like, okay, this is what it is. He's like, oh, this is what it is. I don't know anything about the lead up to Zachary Bryan getting in the back of a police car. Later mentioned that his like sleeve was all messed up, as though some lady came and was assaulting him and stuff. And then a police officer said, "Hey, do you want to press charges?" And this is all true. This is all, you can see the video. We're not going to play it anymore, because, you know. But the police officer is like, "Well, why is your sleeve all messed up? Did she do anything to you? You know, want to press charges?" And Zachary Bryan was like, "No, I don't want to press charges." He's like, "I don't want to press charges." She said, that's the mother to my babies. That's my baby mama. I mean, I thought that's what, not word for word, but that's basically what he said. He said, can't press charges. And basically, the police officer was like, you want to tell me how that happened? And Zachary Brown was like, I walked through a door. And of course, the police officer is going to look at you sideways like, you walked through a door? How come your sleeves all messed up like this? He's like, don't worry about it. I don't have no idea. It's like, well, okay, all right, but now you're going to jail now, all right? Put you in the back of the car now. And he's like, oh, you're doing the wrong thing. You shouldn't be arresting me. And it's like, dude, what happened to your sleeve? He's like, don't worry about my sleeve and my arm. All right. Said he wasn't going to press charges on his baby mom. So you can imagine the relationship he has with her. He doesn't want to hurt her. He doesn't want to hurt her. He's estranged from her. She invites him, whatever. Maybe it's one of the kids' birthdays. I don't know. He's like, why don't you come and just, I know we're not together, but we could be all amicable and stuff. You just come around and we're not gonna give you any problems. We just want you to be here for us, but his such and such birthday. It's gonna be very important that you're here. And I think you're an all right guy, and I thought if we could just see you and stuff come by because you make us happy if you just, and I don't know what she said to him. You can imagine she said these sort of things. Probably seductive things as well. You can imagine. This is only guessing. This is only speculation. And so he comes and he's like, okay, maybe I'll just come and I'll visit with y'all real quick, and it's the birthday, and I'll come through and whatever, I'll just hang out. And then he gets there and he's hanging out and whatever. She gets her tentacles up in him, starts acting real lovely, starts acting real familiar, and starts doing this working her magic, if you will. The whatever, the 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 dance, the romantic dance that takes place. At that point, it's not gonna last very long, right? Or it'll last for a certain amount of time, and then reality will sink back in. That y'all ain't gonna work out together, and it's for good reason. Y'all just have some things that it's not gonna work out, all right? But you do have children together, and you do have all these familiar memories, and maybe y'all still pretty attracted to each other, but still, it's gonna be a powder cake every time. You're gonna end up in the back of a police car every time. It's very typical, all right? I know Zachary Bryan. I mean, if he was back in the back of a police car, and he was thinking, oh, he's one of the very few to end up like this, I mean, then he's retarded. It's very typical. Very, very typical. And then the police officer said, hey, man, maybe you want to press charges and stuff because Zachary Bryan, I swear, he's going to go on to ask the police officer if his wife or his baby mama is going to get arrested. And the police officer said, no, probably not. It's probably not going to get arrested. And then Zachary Bryan said, oh, that's messed up. You're arresting me. He said, but it's messed up. You're not arresting her. And then the police officer said, well, what happened to your sleeve? Did she do something to you, sir? Because if she did something to you, we can arrest her. But until then, it's like we have nothing that we can arrest her about. And Zachary Bryan is like, oh, it's just not fair. And he's trying to compute it in his head. It's all very simple, but he can't understand it because he's in the middle of the chaos. We're going to pray for the man, pray for everybody out there. And hopefully this all starts to make sense to Zachary after, he's bailed out and he's gotten out of the fog of war. And if it does make sense, then he'll, in fact, be better off for this experience. And he'll be further equipped to navigate this world, especially in the world of ladies. All right. Or perhaps it'll send him off the deep end and he'll wall out. I have no idea what he's going to get into, but I wish the man the best on his journey, and I hope that it ends up strong. Now, I did want to mention that it's a process, and if it's successful, it's a process in which inevitably Zachary Bryan or anybody going through these similar experiences will end up being, betrayed by them and hurt by them very much, but then also uh, either overcoming or overall being destroyed by it, right? Either you're destroyed by it or say you get over it. Perhaps if you crash and burn in this particular relationship, you might get over it. There's a lot of painful and terrible experiences that happen to plenty of men before it starts to nudge them into a different lifestyle, a different way of thinking, a different way of analyzing the world, a different way of analyzing the real reality of the way that men and women, for example, act to each other. It's very typical and it's very timeless and it's very violent at times. I mean, it's explosive, if you will. All right. And Zachary Bryan, he's trying to figure out how come, like, he's in the back of a police car. I want to say real quick because I do believe that if it's a process to getting to be what is referred to in this instance as red pill and blue pill, you think of the Matrix, reality, and a dreamland of make believe or whatever. Blue pill is the make believe. Red pill is the reality of the situation, what is exactly taking place right now, and why. The red pill of man and woman dynamics. And as I've studied it over the past whatever few years, I believe that it's pretty interesting. Men and even some women, men of all ages and all classes. I don't care if they're rich or they're poor. I see men become totally red pilled, totally open to the real realities of male female dynamics, totally disregarding the brainwashing perhaps that they had received beforehand, the misconceptions that they had about male female dynamics. And through a process of painful incidences, many men become more and more aware of reality. And it doesn't mean that they hate women. Typically, it doesn't mean that at all. What it means is they understand women. All these men and even some women become red pilled in this instance. They understand women when they become red pilled. When they're blue pilled, if you will, and mind you, you can be poor. You can be super rich. You can be Bill Gates, stupid rich, and still be blue pilled because blue pilled means you have no idea about reality. You wouldn't know reality if it slapped you with its wiener at your dinner table in the face. You wouldn't know reality. That's blue pilled. And rich, poor, there's a lot of men like that. And they're going to stay like that. And long story short, they do so because of the demons. There's a lot of demons that pop up in them, cause them to be blue pilled. They're never going to understand reality. They're always thirsty for that vagina. Okay. So, but we're going to talk about that in great detail. Process. I'm looking at Zachary Bryan and I'm thinking, wow, you're a little bit farther behind. And it's not about age, it's about like experience analysis, getting together with other men who have experienced similar things. Pause, not like getting together, I mean, talking about it, sharing experiences. Pause. I do believe Zachary Bryan's he's got potential. Like, for example, right now, I know that he's a little bit less red pilled than myself. How is that? Well, and it's just my opinion. Here's the thing. Because I'm further down the rabbit hole. I'm even more red pilled. And what I could say, and I think a lot of people would agree, and they probably already thought this in their head, is that Zachary Bryan is not pressing charges. He should press charges. All right. And that's the thing about it. He's in the back of a police cruiser right now. It's like you'd hate to do something bad to somebody, especially, oh, you love them. Oh, they're the mother of your children. You don't want to do nothing bad to her. She's putting you in the back of a police car. Nobody else, strangers, friends, family, nobody else is putting you in the back of a police car except for this freaking lady. All right. And so, gentlemen out there are going to learn one way or another. Press charges. Press charges. Be the first person to call the police. Call the police on that lady. Oh, you know what I heard her? Call police on that lady immediately. As soon as she breaks the law one time, call the police on that lady immediately. Send her to jail. And don't bail her out. However long it takes for her to get out. And people think, oh, that's really hateful. No, that's the best thing that she could ever have had happen in her life. She's not going to die in jail, probably. All right. Statistics say she's likely not going to die in jail. All right. Send her to jail because she's breaking the law. That's the thing. Women are above the law. All right. Because we don't tell on them. We think, oh, there's some sort of honor in not telling on them. However, the further you get down in this red pill understanding of men and women, you understand, you got to tell on them and tell the police, call the police every time, be the first person to call them. Tell them everything illegal that she did and get her arrested. All right. And it's for her own good, by the way. It's for her own good because she's wild out. She doesn't care. She doesn't care whose life she ruined. She can't have you, put you in the back of the police car and send you to jail because she can't have you. Saying it a million, billion, a billion times. And I do want to take the opportunity. We gotta wind it down, right? Here in a little while. But I want to take the opportunity to say, first of all, we should be arresting these ladies. They're doing these crazy things. Calling the police on them and tattletelling, all right, because at this point you realize the chips are definitely stacked against you, all right. But I do want to shout out to all the blue pill people as well. And I want to mention real briefly, we're going to talk about it more so later, the blue pill fellows out there. They believe in science and they believe in this and that because they all have laboratories or whatnot in the back of their house, and that's what they do all day is science. I personally, because I have to appreciate all the things that science gives to my life. I do appreciate that. All right, but some people, these blue pill fellows out there, they love science. All right, and I don't think that they believe in demons, or they would never entertain the idea of actual angels and demons existing. Typically, you might have some blue pill men out there who do believe in it. So the demons are what's causing them to be so blue pilled, if you will, and not really understand the reality of the situation. And what you gotta understand, stepping back, as a third party watching blue pill fellas, what you gotta understand is um, they'll do anything. And they're quite thirsty. That is, if they're attracted to women, they'll do anything. All right. And they'll argue anything, they'll debate anything, and they'll make sure to try to get whatever sort of advantage that they can get over another man. All right. They'll be quick to tear any man down or anyone down for that matter, if in fact poses an opportunity. An opportunity to access vagina. All right? That's simple. You already knew what word I was going to say. Okay? And so they'll lie, they'll do anything. Anything and everything, you'll notice. And that's a good way to just kind of categorize it. These blue pill fellas will do anything and everything to try to get over on you because they feel like if they get over on you, then that will somehow put them above you, and then they'll take your ladies. Meanwhile, when they get a hold of a lady, if they ever do, these blue pill fellas, they're called simps out there, but if they ever do get a hold of a lady, they really can't retain her attention for very long because it's ironic. They don't get her aroused like that. And it's very typically these red pill fellas that get the ladies aroused. It reminded me of a kind of a vow that I reaffirmed to myself the other day, and that was that I'm not going to discuss. I'm certainly not gonna debate, but I'm no longer going to discuss anything regarding the dynamics between women and men. It's not up for discussion. That's not something that exists, right? If I feel that anybody out there is blue pilled at all for any reason, if they're less red pilled than myself, then I simply can't talk to you about these things, these dynamics. And the reason is because you're filled with demons. Now, could I do it? It's not going to kill me to go ahead and debate blue pilled fellas about how wrong they are, about how misguided they are, about how freaking delusional they are, about how they can't entertain a lady for very long, if they even do get one ever. I mean, it's fruitless, basically. That's what I've come to know. It is fruitless. Because blue pill fellas are not out to learn. That's the problem. Or that's not the problem, that's the situation. It's just what it is. There's men out there who, through a series of unfortunate incidents, find themselves to be red pilled. There's men out there who are even smarter and sharper, who learn from other men's bad mistakes, and they become red pilled and very aware of female and male dynamics, and they become red pilled by proxy. Shout out to all them. That's even smarter. But a lot of these blue pill fellas, even if they get hurt by a lady, even if they chase after ladies all day long, pretty much wasting most of their time, they never do learn. They never do accept reality or recognize reality. For example, and this could be, you could use a million examples. You can use a million examples of how these blue pill men out there, they refuse to recognize reality. One of the easiest ways is to ask a man, are men and women the same? It's like a key insight, and I've noticed it's like a little cheat code. If you ask, like, say any man, if men and women are the same, and he says yes, well, obviously, don't talk to that man. Obviously, right? But there's a lot of men out there who would say that. They'd say yes, they're the exact same, right? Don't talk to that guy. There's a lot of blue pill guys out there who might say no, they're different. They're different. But if you were to ask them any sort of remedial primary questions about men and women, you'll notice that these blue pill men think that men and women are the same. They think that men and women should be held by the same standard. They're the exact same. They got the same duties. They got the same roles. They got the same allowances. They got the same everything. They're the exact same. If you ask them on anything, everything's all equal. They're the exact same. And then you turn around and say, okay, you want everything to be the exact same, then are men and women the same? They'll say, no, they're not the same. You're treating them the exact same. It's retarded. You're saying, but see, people get worked up. At that point, you get worked out. You're saying, okay, if they're not the same, if men and women are not the same, then how about you don't treat them the same? You're talking about them as though they're the same. They're not the same. The other day, I heard a man refer to a girlfriend as a partner, as a partner, and off a reflex, I turned to him and I said, "Did you say what did you say to me?" And he said, "What?" And I said, "You said partner." So he said partner. What the hell's a partner? And he said, "Oh, like if you had a girlfriend and stuff." I said, "Well, buddy, she wouldn't be my partner. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Partners? What the hell is a partner?" And he said, "Your partner." I said, "It's no such thing as partners around here. Partners, it's like some sort of implication that we're the same. It's not that. That's not the case. What the? But see, that's when we get all worked up. That's when you get all worked up. My suggestion to myself, especially to anybody out there who's going to listen about it, is that it's fruitless. If you find a man and he's less red pilled than you, and most men are going to be less red pilled than you, then don't talk to them about anything. Just move on and don't talk to them. You might say, "Oh, I don't know, maybe I can coax him into being, like to understanding women more better." No, you can't. He's ran by demons. That's all there is to it. He needs to organically begin to recognize and affirm that men and women are different, and we ought to start treating them different because they are so different, and they're not the same. And no, they're not partners, and that is very gay, right? And just basically cut people off. I saw a very unfortunate debate recently, and we're going to get up out of here pretty soon. But I saw a very unfortunate debate just the other day. It was a couple of days ago, and it was between two fellas who, for the most part, I like them. I like their entertainment. I like their content. Two fellas named Fresh and Fit, and they're on the YouTube, and they're on the Rumble, and I especially like them on the Rumble. But they were having a debate, saying to categorize these guys, they're like red pill fellas. They're very aware of how and why women operate the way that they do. Right? They're very aware of how it is. Real briefly, if you're trying to understand women, what you have to understand is that there is nothing to understand. It's not understandable. See, that goes well over a lot of these men's minds. And they'll be asking themselves, and I've heard them ask themselves, they'll be asking me, all rhetorically. They'll be like, "Oh man, how come these women, they don't make sense? It's like I'm trying to make sense of it. They don't make any sense. How how come?" And it never ends. It's like you don't understand when I say that it doesn't make sense, and that's why you have to understand that it doesn't make sense. But they never, they're not trying to understand, like I said, and it all comes back to demon. So there was a debate, and it was between Fresh and Fit, who, I'm saying, acknowledging the reality instead of playing and pretending and getting all sort of young men in desperate, dire situations. Instead of that, actually relaying to them the truth and helpful tidbits that might help them out. Fresh and fit. They were having a debate with an also a very like popular fella over on the blue pill side of things. What politically you might, and it usually correlates pretty well. Politically, you would call him a leftist. You can check it out if you want to, but it was very long, and I found it very unfortunate. And I was actually not entertained by any of it, hardly. I mean, I clicked on the video because I knew what it was, and it sounded exciting, but it really wasn't. It was pretty boring. It's pretty boring. But it did teach me one thing before I get up out of here, and I do want to share it with you. It did teach me one thing about strategy and about method. See, I would suggest, and I'm pointing to myself actually, but to anybody out there listening, I suggest don't debate, don't even don't converse with somebody if it's become clear to you that they are, in fact, less red pilled than you, and in fact, more blue pilled than you. The reason is because these people might sell you out. You think you want to teach them how to really be a man and to understand the difference between men and women, but you don't understand that there might be demons holding them back from ever understanding it. They're not going to understand it. They're going to choose to not understand it, and they're going to look at you some sort of way. Like I said, they want to get over on you. They don't really like men. They want to get over on men. They're actually not typically very tough. They're not very capable typically, you'll notice. These blue pill men, lots of times they look like little blobs, very incapable, but very proud of it. And they think men and women are the same. They think that we're all partners and this man. It's typical. They're typically left-leaning politically in this net. It's all very typical. I noticed the debate didn't go too good, or at least in my opinion. And the reason why I say this is because, as a third-party viewer, trying to be unbiased, I watched a bit of it, a bit of the debate, and tried to be very objective. And although, obviously I agree more so with Fresh and Fit, I got to say that the overall experience was pretty wishy-washy and halfway. So it was as though nobody won and everybody wasted their time, is what really happened. All right. And, of course, both sides are going to think they won. Obviously, both sides are going to think that they totally destroyed each other. I think that it went nowhere. Nobody did anything significant. All right. But one thing that I learned and picked up is the style and the method. All right. These demons, they don't want to learn. They're not talking about learning. They're not coming together and trying to figure out and get to the bottom of things, come up with solutions. No, the demons want to destroy. All right. The demons want to tear down, say, competing men, if you will, and wiggle their way, ease their way, and try and weasel their way into getting some vagina, because that's what it all comes down to. All right, so they'll say and do anything, especially, and it doesn't matter, like they don't have no honor. They'll say anything about you, and they'll say like the most worst things about you, even if they made it up, or they're assuming things about you, even with totally no proof. They'll start making up things. They'll start assuming things. So it's all about their method and their strategy that I'm noticing. The reason, especially, that I can't say that my man's Fresh and Fit did not win that debate, really. The reasons I say that is because objectively it was hard to tell. You got this guy over here, and of course he's refusing to acknowledge reality. He's got an audience out there of losers. They are total losers. That is a fact. Those losers have eyeballs, and that amounts to advertisement money. He knows he's catering to losers, so he says what the losers that he caters to wants to hear. And they do want to hear that. All right. He's going to start talking about you and assuming things that are very inappropriate about it. He's going to start talking about this and that. Oh, do y'all give alcohol to minors? Oh, I think I saw y'all giving alcohol to minors. Oh, I believe right here it is that. What's in her cup? Is it alcohol? Is that a minor? I don't know. And if a minor got alcohol and stuff, are you gonna, just assuming that? Oh, it's like y'all take advantage of young girls, huh? That's what y'all do all the time? Dude, this is like a debate tactic, basically, of somehow, some way, implying that someone did something bad, even if you have no proof that they did something bad. The strategies just imply that they did something bad, even if you don't have no proof, and then keep harping on it as well, and then keep like just throwing in a little bit of hearsay, further proving that um, the opposition did something bad. Right? I'm noticing the method, the style of the debate, and how it was actually kind of successful. Right? So that was number one thing to remember. It's like they try to put you in the spotlight and make you seem like you're very, very a bad person and that you're guilty of something that they don't have no proof on, but you're guilty of that thing already, and they're going to keep harping about how you're guilty and how you're trying to like dodge your guilt. All right, that's a method. That's a strategy in this debate, and it all took place in the debate that I was watching. All right. Meanwhile, see, the problem is that you get caught on the back foot. Even if you're right, even if I agree with you, you get caught on the back foot. Now you're like dodging accusations. He's making accusations at you, and you're trying to explain your way out of the accusation. You're trying to explain everything on how everything works just because you don't want to let it stand that he accused you of doing something that could be illegal and it's definitely immoral. Um, you're over here trying to explain yourself, and that's actually where they went wrong. Even though they they'll probably, if I had to guess, had all the truth behind their side, doesn't really matter because they're trying to dodge accusations. They're being very dodgy, and so it's a lose-lose situation for them. In my objective opinion, they didn't do very well on that. All right, and then another thing that I noted, and I think that's going to be very crucial, is I think that you'll notice with a lot of these people, say they're blue pilled, say they want to debate you, say they want to call you out, oh, say they want to make you seem like you're a bad person, and then harp about something that is not true, but it's kind of assumed and really make it seem like you're guilty of something. All right, because they're out there, right? They'll make you feel guilty of something and make you look like you're the bad person so that they're the big person. And at the end of the day, they get the vagina that they're plotting on because that's what it's all about. Plotting and scheming with these blue pill fellas. Now, if you have any idea what I'm talking about, you find yourself red pilled, you're tired of these blue pill fellas out there and their tactics, their talking points. You'll notice that most of them, and it did happen in this debate that I had seen. What they'll successfully do is, like I just said, accuse you of something, have no proof. And what they'll do is they'll be so casual. They'll be ever so casual while talking to you, while accusing you of very, very derogatory things. They'll be so casual, and it's almost as though they're talking to it like a third person. Because you know how you have a debate and it's as though you're talking back and forth? Oh, I say this to you. No, now I say this to you. That's a debate, right? No, you'll notice that it's like kind of a tactic. It's like, and I know I have dirty nails. I gotta wash my hands, but it's kind of a dirty tactic in which um, you'll be debating this person, but this person will be talking to a third person. All right. I'm sorry about my dirty hands, but That's the debating strategy. You know what I'm saying? See, you lose because you're debating that person. Meanwhile, that person is talking to a third person that doesn't exist. And you'll know, just watch the demeanor. It's as though they're talking to a third person that doesn't exist. They act very casual. They almost act, they might be stoned on reefer. They could very well be stoned on reefer, or either way, they act like they're stoned on reefer. And that's just demon tactics of debating in which there's no goodwill at all. They're really, really just trying to lie and get over as hard as they can, right? And so it is a pretty good strategy to act very casual, start accusing you of stuff. You get all worked up. You're trying to defend yourself. They just keep accusing you of things and then talking about how you're dodging stuff and you're a very immoral person. They meanwhile they remain very casual and you're getting worked up. Now you're talking real fast, you're talking real feverish, you're trying to defend yourself. They're staying real casual and they're just like, but they're buddy. Oh, you're a bad person. Obviously, everybody sees. And you're trying to debate them. Meanwhile, they're talking as though they're talking to a person that's not there about how much of a scumbag you are. When you really step back and analyze, that's exactly what's going on. It's like as though there's a person there that's not there, and they're talking to that person about how much of a scumbag you are, and you're over here defending yourself. So the reason I bring that up is because that'd be very profitable to reverse that and do that to them. We never even think to do that to them. To stop them dead in their tracks at the beginning of a debate or anything like that and say, buddy, you just said partners. You said men and women are partners. I'm not going to talk to you about this. All right. You need to grow up. Don't come at me and say partners about men and women. Think I'm going to talk to you about men and women. You need to grow up. It's like, it's to start accusing them of just weird stuff and talk about like that. Oh, you got proof that they did weird stuff, and then they're gonna have to get on their back foot and start like defending themselves about wild accusations, baseless accusations that you just made up. Just start making up accusations. See, that's the thing about it. You want to have a good debate. You want to go on merits and truth, right? So I'm just guessing. Just make up wild accusations and act like it as though it's true. Start talking to a third person that doesn't exist. Act like you're stoned on reefer. Act like you couldn't be more casual in the world and your blood pressure is at the lowest possible that it could be right now. And that you're just not a care in the world, but these people are dirty scum. And talk to a third person that doesn't exist about how dirty and filthy of scum these people are and how they're absolutely guilty even though you don't have proof. And I do believe that if you reverse the tactics on them, they won't have no idea because you're acting within rules and guidelines. They're acting within demon possession. They don't give a damn about rules, right? If you throw it back at them, it's pretty bad. So we've been here for a long, long time. Gotta get up out of here. But on the next video, we're really gonna hopefully the next live stream, maybe on Rumble, maybe we're gonna talk about a music video. It's pertaining to what it is we're talking about right now today. It's all intertwined, right? Talking about the demons who will try to rope you into a debate. Meanwhile, they're demons. They do not play by the rules. You switch it up on them and start doing the same thing back to them. And I do believe that they're gonna go haywire and start like just short circuiting basically. One thing that I wanted to talk about, I had to talk about it next time, is a music video that when I saw it was only 4 hours old when I first saw it. It popped up on my Twitter feed, on my X feed. it popped up on my X feed, and I saw it linked to it, and I clicked on it, and then I went to the YouTube, and then the video for the YouTube was only 4 hours old when I saw it the other day, and ever since it's been getting very heated comments up in the comments section. A lot of people, actually, the comments are turned off. All right, I'm not shocked to see that. Here's the thing: there's a man, and his name, if I could say so, is Dylan Mulvaney. However, Dylan is also could be a girl's name, so I might just be confused. I don't know. But there's this guy who you might know, and he just released a music video, and it's called "Days of Girlhood." Now, it's called "Days of Girlhood." I saw it on X. The link, clicked the link, went to the video, and I was actually kind of shocked to find that the comments were on. I went to YouTube in which they'll ban you for any which reason. I went to YouTube onto the comments section of the music video "Days of Girlhood," in which the comments are turned off now. They're very, very disabled. And as you can imagine, every last comment was basically in disgust, basically a bullying fashion. Right, and absolutely going ham. I mean, going in on this fella over here with the girlhood. Now, and the next time we get together when we break this down, so we're gonna take a while. We're gonna take a while on it because you can go ahead and watch it right now, if you will. If you choose to, and what you're gonna see, obviously, is mental devastation and spiritual retardation and all that. It's gonna be very disturbing. And you could very well imagine what all the comments said when the comments were enabled. I couldn't believe that the comments were enabled. They were all terribly bad. Meaning, people really don't like you, basically, for the most part. And people are trying to be very tolerant. And of course, little girls can be tricked into liking any number of grotesque things. We understand that. But for the most people who aren't, in general, people who are not little girls or little boys, little gay boys, they don't like you, and they don't really mince their words either. You have to cut off the comment section. All right, this is a girl. This is a song about empowerment and your girlhood, and nobody's a fan of you, and it's quite terrible. We'll talk about it and analyze it next time. But as you might imagine, you can watch it if you want. The lyrics, when you hear them, are the most misogynistic lyrics that I could possibly conjure in my mind. They were very, very bad. It was deeply, deeply, deeply misogynistic, and I mean it for real. And which is quite ironic because blue pill fellas out there are very quick to call me misogynistic. It's because they want vagina that they think that they're getting over on me, but I don't know what the hell they're talking about. All right. So, quite misogynistic. The most misogynistic video that I can recall in recent history. And, I bid you adieu for right now. For the next time, we're also going to talk about ladies, and they like to be choked, unfortunately. And I know this man, I'm not calling you out. I'm not saying this man, I don't know who's watching this video, but ladies who like to be choked, and we're going to talk about it next time. But mind you, as I did before last time, I do not endorse it. I've never done it. Will never do it. Put my foot down. I don't care if you like it. A lot of people like it. I'll never do it. Never gonna do it. And it's quite dangerous for everybody involved. Deeply disturbing. I'll holler at y'all a little bit later. It is March 14th, 2020, 2024.